The football stopped spinning mid-air. Tom Brady's hand, still half raised, hung awkwardly as he stared at the boy. The backyard laughter faded into a low hum, like the sudden hush before a storm. The kid, 7, maybe 8, stood there barefoot in the grass, his small chest rising and falling, one hand curled around the strap of his Spider-Man backpack. "Are you my dad?" the boy asked again, louder this time. Tom blinked. The sun was bright, too bright. Or maybe it was just the punch to the gut that question delivered, sucking the breath from him. He hadn't noticed the boy before, not like this. Sure, he'd seen him in passing. His housekeeper Maria often brought her son along after school when she couldn't find a sitter. But Tom had never looked at him long enough. Now the boy was still, watching, waiting. His eyes, hazel with a trace of green, looked painfully familiar. "Hey, Tommy, you okay?" Julian Edelman called from across the yard, football still in hand. Tom didn't answer. He couldn't. His mouth was dry, the boy's voice kept echoing in his ears, warping time. Maria appeared from the side patio, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "Mateo," she hissed, "¿Qué estás haciendo?" Her eyes flicked to Tom, panic blooming fast. "Lo siento, Mr. Brady. He doesn't understand. He's just a child." But Tom raised a hand, silencing her gently. "It's all right, Maria." He crouched down, heart pounding. "Mateo, what did you say, bud?" The boy hesitated, glancing at his mother, then back to Tom. "I asked if you're my dad. Mama never tells me who he is, but I heard her say your name one time when she was crying, and you looked like me." Tom swallowed hard. Behind him, conversation and laughter picked back up slowly, but it all felt distant. The world had tunneled, leaving just him, this boy, and a million questions crashing inside his skull. Maria stepped forward. "He's confused. He hears things, imagines things. Por favor, don't listen." But Tom wasn't listening to her either. His eyes were locked on Mateo 7 years ago. He did the math instinctively. There had been a night, a lonely one, a party, the off-season, too much scotch. Maria hadn't worked for him back then, but she had catered the event. They had spoken, laughed even, by the pool. He remembered her smile, and later her lips. "Maria," he whispered, standing up slowly. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" Her face hardened, but her hands trembled. "Because it wasn't your problem. I never wanted your money or your name. I just wanted my son to have a better life. That's why I took the job, not because of that night. But if he's mine, I don't know if he is," she said quickly, almost too quickly. Tom looked at the boy again. His chest tightened. That same stubborn chin, that same small dimple when he wasn't smiling. Mateo stood straighter, defiant and hopeful all at once. "I don't need anything. I just want to know if I'm yours." The weight of the moment pressed down, years of fame and control slipping away, as a truth he never imagined knocked on his door, small, brown-eyed and brave. Tom didn't sleep that night. He stared at the ceiling of his sprawling Tampa home, a place that suddenly felt too big, too hollow. Giselle had moved out a year ago, the kids splitting time between coasts. He'd gotten used to the silence, but tonight it gnawed at him. Mateo's voice played on repeat. "Are you my dad?" At 5:47 a.m., Tom gave up trying. He slipped on a sweatshirt and headed to his office. It was a sleek, modern space, glass desk, spotless shelves, trophies displayed like war medals. But behind the desk, in the bottom drawer, was a small cedar box few people knew about. He pulled it out, sat down and opened it. Photos, old birthday cards, match ticket stubs, a dried-out rose, remnants of past lives. Tucked among them, a small Polaroid from the night of that party. There he was, laughing with Maria poolside. Her hand was on his chest, his smile loose and easy, the chemistry visible even in a still frame. He closed his eyes. He hadn't thought about that night in years, but it happened, and now there was a boy. At 8 a.m. sharp, Tom stood in the kitchen waiting for Maria. He usually left early for training, but today he waited. When she walked in, eyes heavy, probably hoping he'd be gone, he didn't speak, just gestured for her to sit. "I need to know," he said. Was there anyone else? She stared at him, shoulders rigid. Tom, I'm not accusing you, I just want to know the truth. She hesitated. It was a mistake. You were drunk. I was lonely. It meant nothing. That's not what I asked. Her eyes dropped to the granite countertop. No, there was no one else. The air shifted. Tom leaned in. Then why keep it from me? Because what was I supposed to say? Hey, remember that night you don't even remember fully? I'm pregnant now. Congrats. You're a dad. I didn't want to be a scandal or worse, some desperate woman chasing fame. You really think I'd treat you like that? She met his eyes full of restrained fire. I didn't want to find out. Tom leaned back, his jaw tight. I want a DNA test. She looked away, her voice thin. If that's what you need. I do. And if he's mine, I want to be in his life. Maria's breath caught. He's used to it being just us. I'm not trying to take him away from you. I missed his first steps, his first words. I don't want to miss anything else. Her voice cracked. He's a good boy, Tom. He's smart. He loves science and Legos and eats cereal 3 times a day if I let him. He's got this laugh that fills a room, and he deserves to know who he is. Tom nodded, emotion tightening his throat. Then let's find out. Together. That afternoon, Matteo sat in the clinic's waiting room, legs swinging beneath the chair. He held a coloring book, but he wasn't coloring. Tom sat beside him, unsure of the rules now. He glanced over. You nervous? He asked. Matteo shrugged. A little. Are you? Tom smiled faintly. Yeah, a little. Do you want me to be your kid? Tom's heart twisted. He answered honestly. I want to know the truth, but no matter what, you're pretty incredible. Matteo gave a small, proud smile. The nurse called their names. Tom stood, extended his hand. Come on, buddy, let's find out. The clinic said the results would take 5 days. Tom marked each one off like a prisoner counting time on a cell wall. He still trained, still worked out, still filmed a commercial in Miami. But his mind kept drifting. Back to Matteo's face, to Maria's tension, to that lingering possibility that everything he knew about his life could shift forever. On day 3, he visited his parents in San Mateo. Over coffee, his mum noticed something was off. You're quieter than usual, she said, eyeing him carefully. Tom stared at his cup. I might have another kid. There was silence, the kind that only exists between a mother and son. Finally, she spoke softly. With who? You remember Maria, the housekeeper who works for me now? Years ago, before she worked for me, we had a night. I didn't even think about it until her kid Matteo showed up last weekend and asked me if I was his dad. His father shifted in his chair, setting down his paper. Are you? We're doing a test. His mother exhaled, her hand finding his. Whatever happens, that little boy is brave and he's looking for something. Don't walk away from him. I'm not, Tom said. But I don't know what to do if he is mine. You do what your father did, she said. You show up. On day 5, Tom didn't eat breakfast. He sat by the phone watching the minutes pass. At 9:42 a.m., it rang. He let it buzz once before answering. Hello? Maria's voice was tight. They emailed the results. His stomach clenched. You open it? I couldn't. Tom opened his laptop. The subject line was clear. Paternity test result. Matteo Santiago Cruz. He clicked. Maria's voice came through the speaker, whispering, You there? He scanned the document, then scanned it again. Tom? He cleared his throat. It's me. Tell me. He let out a long, slow breath. It says, I'm his biological father. On the other end, Maria didn't say anything. Tom leaned back in the chair, stunned. The truth didn't feel like thunder or fireworks. It felt quiet, heavy, real. He's mine, he repeated. I have a son. Maria finally spoke, and her voice cracked. I didn't want it to be like this. It's not your fault. We were both there. I should have told you. Maybe, but we can't change the past. She sniffed. So, what now? Tom stood up, pacing the room, heart racing. Now, I want to see him. Spend time with him, start slow. Maria hesitated. Okay. Later that afternoon, Tom arrived at Maria's modest apartment in South Tampa. It was a small place. 2 bedrooms, old kitchen tile, a window AC unit buzzing steadily. But it was clean, lived in, warm. Mateo opened the door himself. His hair was still wet from a bath. "Hi," he said, unsure. Tom knelt to his level. "Hi, champ, you mind if I hang out for a little?" Mateo stepped back, holding the door open. "We have pizza." Tom smiled. "Perfect." They sat on the couch, boxes open, cartoons flickering in the background. Maria watched from the kitchen as Tom asked about Mateo's favorite superheroes, his school, his friends. The boy lit up. And when Tom accidentally knocked over a cup of juice, Mateo burst into laughter, a real, full-bellied laugh. Maria turned away, wiping her eyes. Something had shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, but something had begun. The second time Tom picked up Mateo, it was just the 2 of them. He pulled up in a charcoal SUV, fresh off morning workouts, nerves buzzing under his skin. Mateo came out of school wearing a tattered Paw Patrol backpack and immediately spotted the car. Tom stepped out. "Hey, buddy." Mateo's eyes lit up. "Hi, you remembered me." Tom grinned. "Of course I did." The kid climbed into the back seat like it was the most normal thing in the world. Tom, though, kept glancing in the mirror, watching him, small sneakers swinging, humming to himself. It still didn't feel real, but it also didn't feel wrong. "Want to grab some ice cream?" Tom asked. Mateo nodded so fast his curls bounced. "Cookies and cream, please." At the shop, Tom let him order whatever he wanted. Mateo talked non-stop about school, about a kid who brought a snake to class in his backpack, about his plan to build a robot that could do all his homework. Tom listened, trying to memorize everything. After the cones were finished, they walked along the bayfront. The wind tugged at Mateo's jacket. Tom held his hand without thinking, and the boy didn't pull away. "Why don't I have your last name?" Mateo asked suddenly. Tom looked down. "Well, because I didn't know I was your dad until last week." "Oh." A beat passed. "Would I get it now?" Tom hesitated. "That's something your mom and I would talk about together. It's important, you know. Names matter." "I think Mateo Brady sounds cool." Tom smiled, heart catching. "Yeah, it kinda does." When they got back to Maria's apartment, she was waiting by the window. She opened the door, scanning Mateo's face before giving Tom a look. "He had 3 scoops," Tom admitted. Maria raised an eyebrow. "And a giant cookie." "I regret nothing," Mateo yelled as he ran inside. Tom laughed. Maria folded her arms, but there was a smile pulling at her lips. "He's never this happy after school. He talks a lot." "He always does," she said, "but today it felt different." Tom paused, looking at her carefully. "I don't want to overstep." "I know you've done this alone for a long time." She nodded, more serious now. "I have, and I didn't plan on it changing. But it has." "Yes," she whispered. Tom stepped closer. "I want to be there for him, not just financially. I want to be his dad." Maria's voice wavered. "He's all I have, Tom. I'm not trying to take that away. I want us both to be in his life." She looked at him for a long time. "Okay." Over the next few weeks, Tom adjusted. Sunday dinners with Mateo, homework over FaceTime, building Lego sets together. They played catch in the backyard, and Mateo insisted on being quarterback. "You gotta learn to run routes, Dad," he said, puffing out his chest. Tom laughed. "Bossy." "I like it." But not everyone liked the new arrangement. At the next team media day, a reporter asked sharply, "Any truth to the rumors about a child you fathered with your housekeeper?" Tom's jaw tightened. "That's not a rumor. That's my son." He walked away from the mic, ignoring the flurry behind him. The truth didn't need defending. That night, he called Mateo. "Hey, champ. Hi. I'm proud of you, you know that? Even if I'm not good at math, especially then." Mateo giggled. Tom closed his eyes, listening. It sounded like home. The jersey was a surprise. Tom had it made quietly, navy blue with red and white stitching, just like the ones he used to wear on game day. But across the back, instead of Brady, it read Mateo. And under the number 12 it said, Family First. He brought it to Maria's apartment on a rainy Saturday. Mateo was in the living room, building a cardboard spaceship. When Tom walked in, he stood and wiped glue off his fingers. "I made a rocket," he said proudly. "I brought something too," Tom said, holding up the box. Mateo tore it open. The moment he saw the jersey, he gasped. "This is for me." "All yours," Tom said, crouching down, "because you're one of us now." Maria stood at the doorway, silent, watching. Her eyes shimmered, but she didn't speak. Mateo pulled the jersey over his head, even though it was way too big. The sleeves swallowed his arms. "I look like a real football guy," he shouted. "You are a real football guy," Tom smiled. "My guy." That night, after Mateo had fallen asleep, curled up in the jersey like it was armor, Maria poured 2 cups of tea. She sat across from Tom at the small kitchen table. "I've been thinking," she said quietly, "about custody, about school, about how this is all going to work." Tom nodded. "Me too. We'll figure it out. I can talk to my lawyers, but I want to do it your way." "What's best for him?" She stared into her cup. "I used to imagine this moment differently. Some courtroom drama, maybe yelling. But this, it's better. It's real." Tom reached across the table, resting his hand over hers. "You've done an amazing job with him. I just want to be part of what you've already built." Her voice was soft. "And if we make mistakes, we will," Tom said. "But we'll own them, together." 3 months later, they stood side by side at Mateo's school play. He wore a cardboard tree costume and delivered 2 lines with so much heart that the whole room clapped louder than expected. When he spotted Tom in the crowd, he waved. Afterward, in the parking lot, Mateo ran to him. "Dad, did you see me?" Tom picked him up, spinning him once. "You crushed it, bud." Maria stood back, smiling quietly. A man approached them then, one of the other dads from class. He looked at Tom, a little wide-eyed. "Hey, man, I just wanted to say, it's cool what you're doing. Most guys wouldn't." Tom looked at Mateo, who was trying to pull bark off his tree costume. "Yeah," he said. "But most guys don't get a second chance like this." They drove home with the windows cracked, the night air cool and sweet. Mateo fell asleep in the back seat, jersey on, head against the window. Maria glanced at Tom. "You never thought your legacy would look like this, did you?" Tom shook his head. "No, but this matters more than any ring." She nodded. "He loves you." Deep down, he always hoped. Tom smiled, eyes on the road. "So did I. And if this story meant something to you, if you felt the weight of truth or the beauty of second chances, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, and go ahead and click the video on screen. It was chosen just for you, and you're going to love where it takes you next.